my baby, my Valentine, yeah. Boy, now you're making my temperature rise. If you leave me, I go die, I swear. You are like the oxygen.
Welcome to my YouTube channel. So today, let's talk about uJonasi and the opportunity that he was given by uJudge Ratha to actually shield his reputation, because that's what it was. I'll call it what it was. Did it need that? Perhaps it did. Maybe we are insensitive in a way because we do not understand what happens out there. Maybe now we see it on the surface and it is that serious. I don't know. Okay. Maybe that's why uJudge Ratha saw it fit to actually protect the CV or the dignity of Jonasi. Maybe that's why. But as people who are the viewers of the Senzo Meyiwa case, this was not that deep. This was not that deep. The accused were just stating it did not need. It's just unfortunate that the trial is publicized. Yeah, that's that. But if it was fixed, the only person who would have fixed this is still Judge Ratha Mokgoatlheng. If he listened to things and not listen to respond, listen and understand things for what, if he allowed himself to listen and understand, this would have never gone this far. It would have been fixed even yesterday, in my opinion. Now, he had no choice but to make sure that he is shielding Jonasi, because now he after the accused complained about Jonasi, now uJudge Ratha Mokgoatlheng did something very strategically in defense of the professional legitimacy, which is under attack, according to him, of Jonasi. Let me break down what happened. What the interpreter really did there, because he was given an opportunity to give us a history of his career, it was not just a CV being read onto the record. It's a reputation shield, because once the accused publicly challenged an interpreter's neutrality, temperance, accuracy, apparently it threatens Section 35 fair trial rights, especially the right to understand proceedings. So the interpreter responded by building 3 pillars. 1, experience authority. He establishes 25 years plus experience, worked across magistrate courts, high courts, interpreted for senior judicial like Judge John Hlophe, referred to as Judge Hlophe, and then also handled high-profile matters like Baby Jordan case. And also he spoke about translation in legal strategy terms. He's not a junior. He also says that he is not inexperienced. He is not making beginner mistakes. This directly undermines the accused narrative. I don't think they get that. That his conduct is incompetent or unreliable, of which that is not what they are saying per se. They are just saying he needs to fix the attitude, because the attitude is there, it's on record. Secondly, we were taken through specialization, which is the line is very critical. I was the only interpreter in the Western Cape called upon to interpret Zulu matters. Now he's trying to say he's very, very proficient in isiZulu. That's not casual. That's him saying he operates in high-demand linguistic complexity. Courts trusted him in cross-language criminal trials. He has handled Zulu to English, Afrikaans to English, or whatever dynamics, which are notoriously difficult. In courtroom politics, this signals removing me is not simple. You are distributing a skilled function. That's what he's doing there. Now, he's also doing number 3, clean record is equal to legal shield. This is arguably the strongest part. Never subjected to disciplinary hearing. No interpretation challenge up to the SCA level. That's extremely deliberate, because if there were appeals based on interpretation mistakes, complaints upheld, disciplinary records, they could be used right now to justify removal. Instead, he's saying there is zero legal precedent against my competence. That makes it very hard for the court to justify removing him without concrete evidence. Also, what he's indirectly responding to this entire speech is triggered by IQ saying he is moody, emotional, impatient, intemperate, but notice he does not directly argue emotions. He shifts the battlefield to qualifications, experience, institutional trust. That is very strategic because emotional complaints is equal to subjective, credentials is equal to objective. Now, the real legal question here is where it gets serious and where now we must focus. This is not, this issue is not, is he experienced? This issue is, are the accused able to understand the proceedings fully and fairly? Under South African law, even a high experienced interpreter can be removed if interpretation is inaccurate, tone inferences with meaning. IQs lose confidence to the point of prejudice. That's the bottom line. Where the court is trapped, Rata Mokgoatlheng is in a difficult position. If he keeps the interpreter, risk IQ's claim unfair trial later on appeal. If he removes him, risk undermining a 25-year unblemished officer of the court. That's why he escalates to Chief Justice consultation and adjournments. That's why he did that, because this is no longer procedural, it's institutional risk management. Now, this moment is not about personality. It's about control of the courtroom narrative. The accused are saying, we don't trust the voice translating our rights. The interpreter is saying, the system has trusted me for 25 years. The court must decide whose version threatens justice more. Now, in the Senzo Meyiwa murder trial, the fight is no longer just about evidence. It's about who controls the language of the trial. Because once the interpretation is contested, every answer becomes questionable. Every confession becomes vulnerable. Every cross-examination becomes unstable. Now, that is where we are. And I wish Judge Rata can understand. Ukuthi Udoputune 25 years experience and his record is unblemished, that's not the point. That is really not the point, unless we missed it. What are your thoughts when it comes to all of this? Thank you so much. I will see you on our next video. Bye-bye.
To survive, I'll be on.